Once again back, it's the incredible Ekop, that's me. And I'm here to give you my top 10 of the best red heroes in Artifact Draft. Enjoy the video! Tied for number 10, it's again exactly 3 heroes that are worse than the basic red hero. It's as if this was a purposeful design choice. The worst one of the bunch is Pugna. With his 5/9 stats, he's the squishiest of all red heroes, and considering the stats of their heroes is what's supposed to be the strength of red decks, since their cards are kind of weak in comparison, is a huge detriment to Pugna. And already reason enough for me to not want to pick him. His active is of course very situational and also pretty much worse than any other improvement removal that red has access to, because this one your opponent sees coming and can play around it. The Nether Ward can sometimes be pretty good in closing out games, especially against blue decks, which tend to stabilize pretty late, and hopefully your red heroes bully their lanes well enough to punch the tower down low enough to not allow any spells to be played in that lane. But that of course is a niche scenario and rarely happens, and therefore against most decks the Nether Ward is a dead card. Centaur Roadrunner pretty much accomplishes the bare minimum of a green hero in terms of stats. It doesn't pressure much unless you bust out multiple double edges in one turn, when your opponent has nothing he can do about it, to occasionally catch him off guard with that surprise burst. Double Edge can also be used as a pseudo removal against red heroes to reduce their armor and make them go down to maybe even a melee creep. However, I would rather play a hero that has better offensive capabilities on its own and not one that requires you to use your signature card in order to deal proper damage. Tidehunter survives quite a long time with his 18 health and 1 armor, but with 2 attack he really is dependent on attack buffs if you ever want him to have any significant impact. His signature card is a sweet tool to gain initiative in order to be the first to play your high impact cards, mostly from other colors, and his active ability is also a great tool to stall the lane he's in. However, the fact that he requires so much help to do what you expect your heroes to do on their own already, unfortunately makes him worse than the red basic hero. Number 9, Keith the Bold. Keith epitomizes what red is all about. A big body that goes smash and an accompanying spell that's not even worth mentioning. He has no style, he has no grace, this dude just punches you in the face. If I were to name one thing I think is good about his signature card, is that you don't feel terrible about playing it on curve on 5 mana, since the average draft deck typically doesn't even have that many 5 mana cards to begin with, so you often don't have anything better to do other than play Fighting Instinct. But yeah, he's pretty basic. Number 8, it's Timbersaw. Timbersaw has pretty much the same offensive capabilities as Centaur, if not worse. However, where Timbersaw excels, compared to his Horseman counterpart, is his signature card, which provides access to something red often struggles with: AoE. Whirling Death doesn't really look impressive, but even the ever so small edge that this card can provide can snowball into something bigger. It's even better if you somehow manage to kill a hero that's at 2 health right away, which rarely happens, but hey, since red doesn't really have any access to real removal, this is as good as it gets most of the time. It is not good enough, however, to give him a higher spot. One of the reasons it isn't is because of my number 7 pick, Sven. In terms of providing AoE, Sven's natural cleave damage alone that gets progressively higher as the game goes on does a better job at clearing boards than Timbersaw's card ever would. So that alone is putting Sven ahead of him in that regard. His God's Strength signature card makes him seem like just a slightly better version of Keith sometimes, but to be honest, when considering how bad red cards are on average, God's Strength doesn't seem all that bad, and it scales quite well as the game goes long. Taking that number 6 spot, it's Ursa. We are starting to reach the territory where the heroes are getting ridiculous in terms of fighting capabilities. Ursa loves nothing more than digging his claws into enemy heroes and permanently reduce their armor, so make sure to have enough cards that support him in those plans. That passive becomes even better if you somehow give him Cleave or Retaliate. And to be fair, Ursa is the sole reason why I would even consider playing cards that do that, since most of them are really bad. His signature card is very underwhelming, but sometimes gives you the extra edge you need to finish off a bigger hero or just mitigate some damage, so it's not really completely useless. Mezzy secures the number 5 spot for himself, and he sure deserves it. His stats may seem weak, but 3 armor he has right from the start make him deceptively tanky and able to take on almost any other hero. Once you slap some attack on him, he suddenly becomes a big threat to the enemy tower that's hard to dispose of. His signature card also helps you out quite a bit against the natural enemy of red decks, white boards of small creeps. You don't have to worry about the swarm of melee creeps bypassing your red heroes anymore if you just fortify your tower your opponent is trying to push once or twice. This flexible solution to one of red's biggest problem alone earns Muzzy his number 5 rank. Coming in hot at number 4 is Beastmaster. Beastmaster brings something to the table that no other hero does, and that's a creep. Yeah, I know this might not sound impressive, but every creep matters when fighting for an edge to win a lane. But even more than the Loyal Beast, Beastmaster's signature card, Primal Roar, helps you dominate a lane even more. It does often not have the desired effect, especially on a lane that's already filled with enemy creeps. But when the positioning is just right, it can lock your opponent's entire turn on that lane by stunning a hero and getting rid of another one, all while clearing the way to potentially push some damage to the tower. All of this, together with his decent stats, make Beastmaster the total package and welcome addition to any red deck that I want to play. Number 3 goes to Bristleback. Bristleback is just a huge pile of stats, and that alone is already good enough to play him, since he has the potential to kill the majority of heroes he faces while also surviving. And it's such a great feeling too when you do that and get rewarded with 2 armor to not take any unnecessary damage anymore from creeps that get in his way. On the other side, however, much like with Ursa, it feels terrible when he's not facing a hero, so you really want to make sure to include enough combat manipulation in your deck to ensure that he will get that armor reward. Because if you don't, you end up with a hero that doesn't really provide anything significant if he keeps getting blocked by melee creeps, since his signature card is rarely ever impactful. I suppose if you have the luxury of having a bunch of strong statted heroes in your deck, you can always deploy Bristleback on turn 2 to increase the chance that he actually faces a hero in combat. But I'm sure at heart we are all gamblers and just want to gamble for that value on turn 1. Runner-up at number 2 is Legion Commander. Remember when I said red has no good spells, no removal? Well, worry no more. Legion Commander is here to answer your prayers. Are these pesky squishy heroes luckily evading a beating by your mighty red boys? Just pay 2 mana and duel them to the death. The card is amazing early and even more amazing later in the game, when being able to kill a hero instantly might lock your opponent out of even better options. You would expect that having access to such an amazing card would in turn be balanced by Legion Commander having weak stats, but no. The stats are actually surprisingly decent, which easily puts Legion Commander in the number 2 spot. So what could possibly top a card like Duel? Why, of course, it's number 1 X and his Berserker's Call, which is basically 3 duels in 1 card. What the hell? Sure, it might be a little bit more situational than Duel, since you don't necessarily always reach a hero you want to kill like you would with Duel, but come on. Once an enemy hero even remotely looks at X the wrong way, that hero is pretty much dead meat. His initial stats are already insane, and the fact that he has those 2 points of armor from the start make him all the more likely to walk away alive from a Berserker's Call targeting even multiple heroes, while leaving those heroes in the dust. Hero removal, AoE and insane stats make him a perfect combination, and not just the best red hero, but probably even the best hero, period. And that's my list. If you want to see more lists like that, make sure to subscribe for upcoming content and check my other videos. And if you want to see me put these theories to good use, you can see it firsthand on my Twitch channel. Link is in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!